You see it already. The Milwaukee Bucks traded Khris Middleton to the Washington Wizards for Kuzma. Now, in my opinion, this is a disgusting trade that makes zero sense. First of all, Khris Middleton is probably your third or fourth greatest player you've ever had. His jersey's probably gonna be retired one day, and you repay him back by trading him to the Washington Wizards, who's the worst team in the league. And that's just the beginning of it. The second part, you trade him for Kuzma, a player who stinks. No disrespect to Kuzma, he's not a good basketball player at all. He's one of the few players in the league who I look at and think, dang, he's not good at anything. He can't really shoot the ball. He's a bad defender. I don't really see how he fits next to Giannis and Dame. I guess he's 6'9". He has championship experience, but this is just a terrible trade. So does Khris Middleton, by the way. I get Khris Middleton's been injured, which is fair. If you want to trade him for durability, that's fine. You could have just got a much better trade. Kyle Kuzma, I don't really see him fitting well in Milwaukee at all. He's just a pure stat accumulator, nothing more, nothing less. He's going to get numbers on a bad team. I don't see his game being very impactful on a winning team. But hey, then again, though, we haven't seen Kuzma on a winning team since he was on the Lakers, and that was a pretty long time ago. So maybe he changed his game. Maybe he got better so where he could fit with other stars. But I just don't see that happening. Khris Middleton this year, I know he's been injured all year. He's been injured really the last 2 to 3 seasons. But you look at his stats. He's averaging 14 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds a game. And 23 minutes on 51%, 41% from 3. Has a 63 true shooting percentage. I don't get why you would trade that. As long as he's healthy for the postseason, which he was last year, which, by the way, he averaged 25 points on excellent efficiency in the playoffs last year against the Pacers in 5 or 6 games, I believe. What's the point in trading that? The Bucks, I feel like, are one of those teams, along with a lot of the other teams in the East, like the 76ers, like the Celtics, where all they have to do is get in. I don't think the Bucks are really fighting and struggling for playoff position. I think they realize that they have the guys where as long as they get in the postseason, they can beat anybody, and that's exactly how I think the Bucks are. So I feel like trading for Kuzma is a desperate regular season move. You're trying to get somebody to play more games, but he doesn't make their ceiling higher to win a ring at all. Khris Middleton, I believe, could have been the perfect number 3 option next to Dame and Giannis, of course. And they ruined it. We haven't even got to see a playoff series with Giannis, Dame, and Middleton because obviously Giannis missed the Pacers series last year. And I thought that Dame and Middleton looked really solid. I thought Dame got injured too. But I thought Dame and Middleton looked solid last year in the postseason. We didn't even get to see that with Giannis. So it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. Is Kuzma going to start at the small forward position? It's just really awkward. Kuzma just can't shoot. And I just hate the Kyle Kuzma archetype. Whatever archetype it is, the player who's tall, I guess, can't really do nothing, can't shoot, can't defend. I just hate that archetype right there. You can't shoot or play defense. It's what are you doing in this league at the end of the day? But yeah, I guess we'll have to see what happens. I personally hate the move, and I definitely feel bad for Khris Middleton. Imagine going from a team you played in mostly your whole career. I know you played 1 year in Detroit, but basically a team that's your home. You want a ring there. Your jersey's going to be in the rafters one day. I think you're the 5th seed right now in the NBA. Now all of a sudden you're playing on the worst team in NBA history. Can you imagine that? For 1 second, you wake up and now you're on the Washington Wizards after playing on a contender. That sucks. Hopefully Middleton could get traded from Washington so he could play on a contender before the deadline. I don't even know if that's possible. I know it's a lot of trade rules or whatever. But yeah, let me know what you think of this trade. Personally, I think this is an awful trade. And I said this earlier. I know it's a hot take. I was talking to my friends about it. This trade right here is worse than a Luka AD trade, in my opinion. And this is why. I think the Luka and AD trade, that at least had a vision. You know what I mean? Was it a vision that I would do? Absolutely not. I would never trade Luka Doncic, especially for a 31-year-old. That just wouldn't happen. But they at least had a vision. They had a vision where AD could make this team better right now. And you can argue that he will make this team better right now in terms of just giving the Mavericks a defensive identity a little more. Then I think Kyrie Irving is good enough to be a 1A, 1B type of dude along with Anthony Davis. So they at least had a vision. Is it a correct vision? No. But this trade right here has no vision at all. It's just, they're not better long-term with this. They're not better short-term. Their ceiling isn't better and their floor isn't better. It's just a waste of a trade. But again, sorry for the 5-minute yap session, but let me know what y'all think of this trade. Personally, I'm pretty disgusted.